Words!
A staple of humanity from the beginning. If you want to get something across, this was and still is the way to go. Different forms of languages appeared with their own slang terms, which then developed into communities. This and shortened abbreviations of words is what has led us to
Hello? Yes, I think I need a translator. So you know what? I'm bored. Let's break out a dictionary. Howdy and hello everyone, and if you're watching this video, you probably are a rail fan, or just have some reason to be watching a rail-related show.
Here in the Railfan community, there are a ton of words and phrases that to the common person may mean nothing or just something entirely different from what they actually mean. So, today, allow me to take you through some common words and phrases in the Railfan community and the rail industry.
Yes, a term as old as time, assuming you think that time started in the 20th century, which, considering attention spans these days, it might as well have been.
Fulmer, to sum it up in basic terms, is a railfan that is insanely obsessed with something related to the rail industry, usually to an annoying extent.
The definition of the word Fulmer was coined by actual railfans, not railroaders, but the term Fulmer did come from actual railway workers.
And from what I've seen and heard, for the most part, when crews say foamers, they're just referring to any railfan. Doesn't matter how chill or annoying they may be. Hell, there was even one time where a crew who I'ma just preference was by far the coolest crew I've ever met to date, y'all were a bunch of legends, who corrected me when I said I was a railfan with saying that everyone in this community is a foamer, and that's not a term that should be ashamed of.
Basically, while this term does often come with a negative context, it really can mean anything when you're referring to railfans. If you're a frequent viewer of my YouTube shorts or just watch general horn videos, then you probably have heard the term Doppler, or even the elusive hot Doppler.
When someone says Doppler, they're referring to the Doppler effect, which is the effect that causes a sound to raise in pitch while they're coming towards you at speed and lower pitch as they go past you, creating a really cool pitch shift sound effect that I personally cannot get enough of. This term is often paired with reverb, which is essentially the sound of being in a really big room, or most commonly for trains, in a tunnel or underneath an overpass.
If you've seen one of my shorts or just watched some of my railfanning content and noticed the camera's a bit far away from the actual tracks or train, that would be because I'm trying to get Doppler and I was feeling in a particularly Doppler mood that day. Now, if you really want to talk about a term as old as time, highball is an absolute classic railroading phrase.
If you're listening to a scanner when trackside when a train is departing, you will often hear them say highball and then wherever they are. Highball is commonly said when the tracks ahead are clear, aka all green.
Rail fans such as myself have taken up this term to state whenever we're on our way somewhere in a bit of a hurry. Basically, if you ever hear me say the term, I'm highballing over there, that basically means I'm about to be doing 122 miles per hour down the I-5.
This term comes from the old days of railroading, back when there was quite literally a highball. Rather than a green, yellow, or red signal, there was a ball on a pulley. When the tracks were clear, the ball was raised to the highest point, marking, what do you know, a highball. I also find this a fun testament to how simplistic things with railroading were back then, and I'd like to just imagine the situation went a little something like this.
Damn it, we need some way to keep these trains from running into each other. Well, if it isn't my lucky day.
Highball is often paired with a good few other terms. A particularly common one I hear is highball the runner and highball the class 2. The former meaning the train passed the running air brake test, basically they applied the brakes while moving the train to make sure they worked, and the latter meaning the train passed the FRA class 2 brake test, which is basically applying and releasing the brakes to make sure adequate pressure is being sent into the brakes.
No, I'm not talking about horses.
A livery is essentially the paint some kind of rail vehicle wears, with it almost always being used to show where a locomotive or piece of rolling stock is from or who it's owned by.
This term can also be swapped out for the term scheme, or in Amtrak's case, phase, but either way, they all mean the same thing, being what design the locomotive is wearing. A term I'm pretty sure I've heard outside the railfan community, but this place is where I hear it the most, so let's look over it.
POS is an abbreviation essentially meaning piece of shit. It also is interchangeably used with shitbox, along with many other things that basically all mean whatever you're referring to really sucks.
This term, in my experience, is most commonly used when referring to locomotives or rolling stock. Specifically, bad locomotives or rolling stock.
Whether it be that thing sucks operationally, something about it sucks, or you just really don't like it. Most people use this term when referring to modern equipment because when given the choice between either Stadler KISS or an F40, it doesn't matter how many facts you show them, they'll still act like the EMU is the worst thing to ever grace this earth. And with that, there are some pieces of railfanning slang that I hear most often. If you'd like to see me feature this topic again with more terms, let me know in the comments, and if you'd like, you could even let me know some terms that you think I missed, cause I'm sure I did. But now I just have one last thing to say. I still have no idea what the hell this means.